ultimately the government reached to a conclusion that we will implement in India dual system of GST. Dual system of GST. Although single GST was best, but due to federal system in the country, in India, it could not be managed the single system. Therefore, government adopted dual system of GST, which we are going to discuss today. It says in the first point, dual GST having two concurrent components. One, central GST levied and collected by the center, and the other is state GST levied and collected by the states, oblique union territory, where GST is managed by the administrator appointed by central government. Now, what does it mean actually? You have seen whenever you go to market to purchase certain goods, say, suppose you have gone to purchase a shirt for you. When you buy the shirt, the supplier issue a bill to you, an invoice. In that invoice, if you have seen carefully, at the top of it, he writes the name of the shirt, brand of the shirt, quantity, color, and rate. Suppose rate of one shirt is 3,000 rupees. Then he will write in the total column 3,000 rupees. Thereafter, what he will do, he will add the tax on this shirt. And he will write add CGST. CGST means central GST. He will write CGST. And suppose rate of tax on that shirt is 5%. Then he will write add CGST at the rate of 2.5%. 2.5%. Then he will calculate at the rate of 2.5%, say 75 rupees. Then again, he will write down on the same invoice, add Delhi GST. Suppose we are in Delhi. Delhi GST means DGST. If you are in Odisha, he will write OGST, means Odisha GST. Or we will call it as SGST, state GST. So when he will make the bill in Odisha, he will write first CGST at the rate of 2.5%, say 75 rupees on 3,000. Then he will write SGST or Odisha GST at the rate of same 2.5%, and again he will calculate it as 75 rupees. So meaning thereby on 3,000 rupees tax chargeable is 5%, but this has been divided into two components, CGST, central GST, and state GST, 2.5 and 2.5%. So that is why it is called dual GST, and it will be charged on the invoice concurrently together. So question is, why we have not implemented a single GST? Since there is a federal system in the country, as I explained you earlier also, there were very difficult, lot of difficulties. Discussion were going on between the states and the center. And after 15 years of discussion, we could implement GST in India. That is why we implemented dual system, so that at least 50% of the tax straight away goes to the state, because as his share. Why 50%? Because earlier, as you know, goods were not liable to be taxed by center, and services were not liable to be taxed by the state. Now, when all goods and services are taxed by both, then it is distributed as 50-50. 50 by central, 50 by states. That is why we wrote it as CGST 2.5%, SGST 2.5%, and thereafter we make it total as 5%, 150 rupees, and the cost of the shirt will become 3,150 rupees. You pay him 3,150 rupees and then you will get the shirt. So now this 150 rupees that the supplier has collected from you, he is to deposit it with the government. When he will deposit with government, then he will fill CGST rupees this 175 and SGST or Orissa GST rupees 75. So meaning thereby, when this type of billing will be made, when you have made the purchases from the same state, means the state in which you are living. If you have purchased your goods from the same state, or you have received the services from a person located in the same state, then this type of tax is charged, meaning that by both the taxes will be charged together. But it may also be possible that you might purchase those goods not within the state, or you might be placing an order to a person who is located in Delhi. Supplier is in Delhi and you are in Odisha. You have placed an order on me. So when I will supply the goods or services to you, at that time, I will not charge CGST and SGST. What I will charge? I will charge IGST on that, interstate GST, because integrated GST, sorry. IGST means integrated GST. So I will charge integrated GST on that. In short, I will call it as IGST on interstate purchases of goods or services in India. And this will be levied and collected by the center, and thereafter apportioned between the union and states, administered by the central government. So what does it mean? For local purchases within the state, you have to pay CGST and SGST, but 50-50, 2.5% and 2.5%. Suppose total GST rate is 5%. If total rate of tax is 18% on that item, then 9% CGST and 9% SGST. But in case you purchase the same goods from a supplier who is outside the state, means outside of Odisha, then that supplier will be charging you IGST at the rate of 18% or 5%, whatever is the rate. Means he will not charge 2.5% SGST, he will not charge 2.5% CGST in his bill. Instead of that, he will be charging one tax called as IGST at the rate of 5% or 18%, whatever is the rate on that item. Now, this is about local sales. Two concurrent tax will be levied. On interstate supplies, one tax called IGST will be levied. IGST will be equal to CGST plus SGST. Means if IGST rate is 18%, then CGST and SGST will be 50% of each, 9% and 9% each. Now, the question is, this I have told you about local purchases or local supplies, or interstate purchases or interstate supplies. Question is, what will happen if I make these purchases from outside India? I may purchase goods from outside India also. Then the law provides that in that situation, CGST and SGST will not be charged. Rather, when the goods will come from outside India, it will be either import of goods or it may be import of services. And as I told you in the beginning, that whenever the goods or services are imported, at that point of time, two taxes were levied. One was called CVD and one was called SAD. These two taxes used to be levied to protect our Indian industry and business, so that make the things costly, so that they can compete when they are brought to India, so that the Indian businessman must be able to compete with them. It is not that those persons should sell the goods at a cheaper rate to you and thereafter when you can sell those goods in India, and the goods which are manufactured by the Indian manufacturers, they will not be able to sell those goods. Therefore, whenever the goods used to be purchased by way of imports, then government charges, central government charges CVD and SAD thereon in the earlier regime. But now these two taxes, CVD and SAD, has been already subsumed into GST. Therefore, now CVD and SAD is not applied. Instead of that, what is applied is IGST, meaning thereby on purchases, normally supplier charges the tax. But here, in case of import of goods or services, the supplier will not charge you any tax because supplier is sitting outside India. He is in foreign country, but we, the purchaser, are in India. So here, Government of India will apply IGST on you. Means on those goods, we have to pay custom duty as well as IGST upon that. So two taxes has to be paid, custom duty and IGST. Friends, custom duty is also indirect tax, but this tax has not been subsumed. This still stands. So custom duty still stands, and then IGST will also be levied to make those goods competitive when it is in competition with the Indian goods. So this is on import of goods and services. IGST will be paid, but not to the supplier, but to Government of India. Under reverse charge, here purchaser will be paying the tax to government. Although supplier is supposed to pay the tax, buyer always pays to the supplier and thereafter supplier pays to the government. But here, since supplier is outside India, therefore supplier will not pay the tax. Indian customer will not pay it to the supplier, but the Indian customer will directly pay it to the government. And when the buyer, when the recipient, when the purchaser pays the tax, then it is called tax paid under reverse charge mechanism, or in short we call it as RCM. So now we have discussed local sales, CGST and SGST. Interstate sales, IGST will be applicable, and in case of import of goods and services, what will be applicable? IGST under reverse charge. Now, next item comes in interstate stock transfers. What are these? Interstate stock transfers. It is like this, that suppose I have a factory located in Delhi. I want to open a branch in Bhubaneswar for selling of my goods. Earlier in pre-GST regime, what was the system applicable in the country? The system was that if you supply the goods from your factory to your branch in another state, that is, it is called interstate stock transfers, because same company cannot sell the goods to himself. That is why it is called stock transfers. So when we transfer the stocks from our one unit to the other unit in the other state, at that point of time, in earlier regime, that is earlier indirect taxes system, the government was not to collect any tax on it. Why? Because the law was that you cannot sell the goods to yourself. How can you sell the goods to yourself? You have just transferred from factory to a branch, or one branch to the other branch. In that case, since you are the same person, proprietor is same, or company is same, or partnership firm is same, therefore the law said you cannot sell the goods to yourself. Therefore, no tax, sales tax or VAT or central sales tax will be applicable in case of interstate stock transfers. But what was to be done that? in that situation, government allowed the buyer what to do? To issue a F form to the supplier. And if that F form is received by the supplier, then there was no tax. But if F form is not given by the supplier, by the customer, by the branch to its factory office, in that situation, full rate of tax would be applicable. So meaning thereby, my other branch to whom I am transferring the goods, it needs to obtain F form from government department. So the Odisha branch officer will have to go to sales tax office. He should make an application to the government department. Sir, I have received these stock transfers from Delhi. I want to issue a F form to them. Please give me the F form. So he will show all the documents by which he has received the goods, invoice, then transport receipt, and other documents, whatever documents are required. So he will show all those documents to the officer concerned, and thereafter officer concerned used to give him the F form. Then that branch give that F form to me in Delhi, and that on the basis of that, I will go to my sales tax department and tell him that, look, I have not sold these goods to my branch. I have just stock transferred. This is the F form issued by the branch. Therefore, there should not be levied any tax on this. So with this system, government allowed me not to charge any tax and not to pay any tax on interstate stock transfers. Now the question is, this was all I explained you what was happening in pre-GST regime. But this obtaining this F form from the government was a very difficult process. When, as I told you, that there was a huge corruption in the country because of these taxes. When my branch office go to the sales tax office to obtain that F form, then the officer who is sitting on the chair, he might or he used to raise so many objections. This paper is not correct, this application is not correct, this paper is not correct, bring this paper, this is not genuine, this is bogus. So he will try not to give him the form unless he give some money to him. So this was two cases of corruption as well as harassment. And the public of the country used to tell the government, sir, you abolish this system of forms in the country. This was not the only F form. There were certain other forms also which were applicable in the country, like C form, H form, etc., etc. So these forms were prevalent in the country so that the interstate tax is not levied on that. But because of these forms, there was a lot of problems and there were a lot of difficulties in obtaining these forms from the government. Lot of time was wasted, lot of energy was wasted, lot of money used to be paid, and there was a great harassment. Therefore, government wanted to remove this, and in GST, government has removed that. Now, as on today, there is no central forms available by which you can make any purchases or any sale without paying or without collecting the tax. Now, what government has done now? If you had transferred the stocks interstate, that is from one state to the other to your own branch, in that situation, you have to collect IGST on that. Look, earlier there was no tax, and now I am saying you have to collect IGST. That is not proper. Earlier there was no tax, and now you are asking me to pay the tax. So government said no problem. When the factory office will charge tax from the branch will be entitled to claim ITC on that. When branch will claim ITC on that, and again it will sell it to this somebody, then against the output tax, he will claim this IGST and no tax will be paid. So therefore, there will be no impact. Of course, working capital will be involved for some period. Some period means the period within which the transfer is received and those goods are sold to a customer. Whatever time gap is there in between, for that period, the working capital cash flow of the transferee person or the assessee will be, funds will be blocked and working capital will be impacted. Although, so far as tax part is concerned, there will be no tax. Things will not become costlier, because if I'm transferring the goods on the basis of IGST, this benefit of IGST will be availed by my other branch, and there will be no tax impact. So it will be set right like this. So till now I had told you dual GST on local transactions, supplies, IGST on interstate supplies, IGST on import of goods and services, and IGST on interstate stock transfers. Look, whatever transaction will be there between the two states, it will be treated as IGST, interstate transaction, and IGST will be levied on that. Now, you say, I have not sold the goods locally. I have also not sold the goods interstate. I have not imported the goods, and I have not stock transfers the goods. There can be another situation in which I am exporting the goods or services outside India. Now look, two states are not involved. In this transaction, two countries are involved. So he says, which tax will be applicable in this case? Look, export of goods or import of goods or services or export of goods or services have been treated as an interstate sale. No doubt. On imports, you will pay the IGST as I explained you earlier. But what will happen on exports? Government says, if you are exporting goods or services, you need not to pay any tax. Means export of goods and services will be zero rated. Means those will be taxable, but the rate of tax will be zero on that. Now, what does it mean? It means if those goods, if those supplies are export supplies, then only no tax will be levied on that. But if tomorrow it is proved that it was not an export supply, because there are certain conditions, how you determine whether certain goods are exported or not, whether services are exported or not, certain conditions have been imposed on that. What will be those conditions? We will be going to discuss later on. But those conditions have to be satisfied in order to prove that the transaction was a sale of goods in exports or sale of supply of services in the course of export. So in order to establish that it is export, we have to satisfy those conditions. So if we are able to satisfy those conditions, in that case, its supply will be export of goods or supply will be export of services, and government says that you need not to pay any tax, it will be zero rated. Now, question is, why it is kept zero rated? In order to compete with the foreign suppliers of the other countries. Because if the other countries supply at a lesser price, then who will buy from Indian people? That is why, in order to reduce our tax, in order to reduce the prices of our goods for the purpose of export, so that we can earn foreign exchange in our country, therefore, this has been kept zero rated. But now the question is, if you have kept it zero rated, no doubt no tax will be levied. But government has given another benefit also. What is that benefit? That if you are purchasing those goods, you have to pay tax on that. That is called input tax. Input tax has to be paid. Now, when I have paid the input tax thereon, but my exports are not taxable, means zero rated, it means always this ITC will be available with me. So government says, okay, don't worry, we will give you the refund of that ITC. Meaning thereby, in order to boost the exports of the country, government says that there will be no tax, that is, it will be zero rated tax, and whatever ITC you have paid on purchases or on the goods to use them in the manufacture of goods on raw materials, that ITC will be refunded to you by the government as per set procedures. So export of goods and services, not only this, he says supplies to SEZ. SEZ means special economic zones. Certain zones have been created which are at the national border of the country. Those are within our country, but those are not treated as Indian country. Rather, it is said that this is outside India. Those special economic zone, if you make any supply or those make any supply, in that situation, tax is zero rated. Means supply to SEZ is also treated as export of goods and services and no tax is levied on that. It is zero rated. In that situation also, refunds can be claimed. So this is how, these are the features of Indian GST. Means dual tax, CGST will be levied, SGST will be levied, IGST will be levied in case of interstate, IGST on imports, IGST on branch transfers, no tax on export of goods, no tax on export of services, no tax on supplies to SEZ. I'm sure you must have got all these things, that it is a dual GST system in India because single system was not possible. It was discussed with so many times, but the state governments did not agree to a single GST system, because in that situation, entire tax would have gone to central government, and then the states would have depended on the central government to take money from them every time depending upon the turnover of the state. Therefore, state government said, no, make it 50-50. You take 50, you give us 50, and on the balance which have gone to you, then we will see how it is to be distributed. And IGST entirely will go to the center, and from that IGST later on it will be apportioned between union and states, and it will be administered by the central. Right? This is clear? 1 minute.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So next slide is, this is a pictorial, whatever I have discussed so far. At the top of it, it says indirect taxes. Then it talks of GST. GST to GST, intrastate, then interstate. Means there will be two transactions. Transaction will be local supplies, intrastate, or it will be interstate supplies. It will be called as interstate. Then intrastate supplies, we will be paying SGST and CGST. And on the right hand side, on intrastate transactions, we will be paying IGST. This is what we have discussed so far. So I'm moving to the next slide. Yes, this slide have already explained by you to all of you earlier also, but it is coming again. What does it say? The feature of Indian GST is that tax will be levied on all goods or services under GST, except, but these are the 5 items on which no GST will be applicable. What is that? Alcohol for human consumption. I have already explained to you why. Because government does not want that this item become cheaper or less costlier, so as to reduce the consumption of the alcohol for human. Then electricity is out of GST. Real estate means sale of land and buildings, that is also out. And then is petroleum products. Petroleum products have already been included in GST law, but government said that GST for the time being will not be levied, and whenever GST council will decide, at that point of time we will levy the tax. Otherwise, it is in the constitution. It has been taken into the constitution. But so far as now is concerned, at present time, there is no GST on petroleum products. And the last is tobacco products, because government wants that its consumption should be less. That's why GST is applicable, as well as central excise duty is also applicable. So as I told you earlier also, that in case of alcohol, in case of petroleum products, what tax is applicable? VAT is still applicable. So VAT has not completely gone. VAT is still there, but only on few items. Central excise duty is also there, but only on few items. State excise duty is also there, but on selected items. So these 4 items, no tax, no GST. Now, next is GST. This all we are discussing features, and till end today we'll be discussing features of GST only, and then this basics will over with features of GST. Now it is GST is destination based consumption tax. What does it mean? In the pre-GST regime, whenever we used to sell the goods, at that point of time, the state from where goods were going, that state used to collect tax on that. And that money used to be retained by him. That was called tax state of origin. Tax was payable to the state of origin. But in GST, the law has been changed. The tax goes to the state where consumption of the goods takes place, where the goods are consumed, not in the state of origin. There were so many problems so far as tax with the state of origin was concerned. In order to remove those problems, we will discuss later on. Presently, we need to understand this much only, that GST is destination based. Means GST will go to that state in which the consumption of those goods will be there. मोटी बात यह है कि जिस स्टेट में गुड्स कंज्यूम होते हैं, चूंकि वहां की पब्लिक उसको कंज्यूम करती है, इसलिए गवर्नमेंट चाहती है कि उस स्टेट के लोगों को टैक्स, उस स्टेट को टैक्स मिलना चाहिए जहां पर वो लोग रहते हैं, जहां पर वो कंज्यूम करते हैं, नॉट इन द स्टेट ऑफ ओरिजिन. सो एग्जांपल इज गुड्स प्रोड्यूस्ड इन ओडिशा आर सेंट टू दिल्ली, देन टैक्स विल accrue to Delhi and not to state of origin. No doubt it will be collected in Odisha, but the state government tax of which Odisha government will collect, it will send to the center, and center will send it to the Delhi government. Meaning thereby tax relating to that will go to the state in which goods will be consumed and not where from the goods will be sold. Earlier regime, CST used to be charged in Odisha only, and that is the state of origin. But now system has been changed. That tax, whatever tax will be collected, it will go to the central government, and that central government will distribute it to the state of Delhi where goods will be consumed. That will be an automatic system. We have nothing to do with that. You need not worry about that. That is a system, auto system, and the money will go over there. We need not to worry about it. Procedure then, next is how the taxes will be collected. Throughout India, since GST is one nation, one tax, therefore, procedure for collection of CGST, SGST, UTGST is uniform. Same method will be adopted in respect of all the taxes throughout all the states of the country. There is common return for central authority and state authority. Earlier, what was there? The central taxes, service tax returns used to go separate. The tax, state tax and central tax returns used to go with the state government. Service tax returns used to go the central government in different office. So the returns used to be filed with different authorities. Now the question is here, what will happen here? Because there are two taxes, CGST, SGST, as well as there is another tax called IGST. So the question is where the return will go. Government says you need not worry. assessee or the businessman will prepare a common return, both for which will cover CGST, which will cover SGST, which will cover IGST. He will prepare a common return and file on GSTN portal. From there, GSTN portal will look where that return is to go. You need not worry. Businessman has nothing to do with that. There will be a common return for central authorities as well as for state authorities. Then he says, returns will be filed online. Earlier, there was a system that you can file the returns online or you can file the returns manually also. Although in almost all the states, if not all the states, at least in maximum states, the computer system were used to be there for filing of the returns. But there were places where the returns were still being filed manually. But when you file the returns manually, as I discussed earlier also, then there is a lesser control by the government and there were chances of leakage and evasion also. Therefore, government wanted that throughout the country, whatever is the location of the taxpayer, wherever in a small place he is living, no problem. But all returns will be filed online so that the administration is better, planning is better by the government. There is less chances of tax evasion. So all returns will be filed online. Not only all returns, every document which is required to be filed under GST, maybe registration application, maybe returns, maybe claim of refunds, maybe change of addresses, anything which is to be done relating to GST, nothing is to be done physically. Everything has to be done online. Next is self-supply is also taxable, such as branch transfers. As I already explained you that once you are transferring the goods from factory to another office in another state, these branch transfers will be taxed. So means he says self-supply, because the branch transfers will be supply from the same PAN number to the same PAN number. Means there is no change in person. So it is a self-supply. Earlier self-supply was not taxable. But now here he says self-supply means branch transfers are also taxable. But the other branch, since it will be getting the ITC, there will be no problem. Then, so far as we have discussed, mainly SGST and CGST. Now he says, what are the features of IGST? Let us discuss that. These are also very simple. What is that? Central government would administer and levy the taxes on IGST. Means IGST will be administered by the central government. Seller / service provider in the origin state is to charge IGST on interstate supply of goods and services, and IGST will be equal to CGST plus SGST, as I already explained. Then he says interstate seller / service provider shall use his input on CGST and SGST for payment of IGST, that is, he shall pay net IGST. This is important. You must understand. Look, a supplier who is selling the goods interstate is to collect IGST from his customer. Now this IGST is with him, which he has collected from the customer and he has paid to the government. But at the same time, in order to sell those goods, he might have purchased those goods, suppose, say locally. He has purchased it locally, and on purchases he has paid CGST and SGST. ध्यान दीजिएगा. On purchases, since these are local purchases, therefore he must have paid CGST and SGST on purchases. But he has sold those very goods interstate. When he has sold those goods interstate, he is supposed to charge IGST on that. Now look, he is to pay IGST, but he is having input of CGST and SGST. So government says you can adjust CGST plus SGST against IGST and pay the difference. Meaning thereby it is not necessary that IGST is to be adjusted against IGST, CGST is to be adjusted against CGST, SGST is to be against SGST. No, it is not like that. Means CGST and SGST put together can be adjusted against IGST also. So there are certain other rules of adjustments. Means CGST can be adjusted against IGST, IGST can be adjusted against CGST, IGST can be adjusted against SGST, but CGST and SGST cross adjustment is not possible. Means CGST and SGST cannot be adjusted cross, although both of them can be adjusted against IGST. So this is the law, but whenever collection and payment of taxes will come, we will discuss over there in detail. This is a feature of IGST which I am trying to explain in brief. Then he says, next is interstate buyer / service recipient shall avail ITC on the basis of tax invoice for payment of his own IGST, CGST or SGST. Same thing which was written in the earlier point, it is the same. The buyer to whom I have sold the goods in interstate, that buyer will be getting the invoice from me, and on that invoice I must have charged IGST. Now with him IGST is available, but he has sold those very goods locally, and when he is selling those goods locally, he will be collecting SGST and CGST from his customers. So he has output liability of CGST and SGST, but he has input tax as IGST. So law says nothing to worry. IGST input can be adjusted against CGST and SGST liability. So the question will come in your examination relating to these workings. Which tax can be adjusted against which tax? So simple formula to be remembered is that CGST and SGST cannot be cross adjustment, but otherwise every tax can be adjusted. So this is the simple formula. So when the questions will come, we will look at it, but in the coming chapters. So since this is a chapter to explain the features only, we will not spend more time on this. Next is this, what we are discussing. This is features of IGST. Then he says both the seller and the buyer shall report these transactions in their respective returns. This is a simple matter. Whatever transaction I will do, I will show in my return. Whatever transaction the buyer will do, he will show in his return. The exporting state, this is important. I have explained you earlier. The exporting state means supplier will transfer the SGST portion, because the tax is to go to the other state. The exporting state will transfer the SGST portion to central government, because CGST portion is state central part. It will go automatically to central government. What is left with me? Only SGST portion. So he says that state government which has sent these goods to the other state, and the tax should go to the other state. Therefore, this SGST which has been collected in, say, in Delhi, it will be sent to Odisha. The state will send directly. There is a system, inbuilt system, that this tax will automatically go to the other state. That is the importing state, whether it is Odisha or Haryana or any other state. So the SGST on this transaction is to go to the consuming state or in destination state. That is why, but everything will be done auto calculation. Add with GSTN, you have nothing to do. We have nothing to do. We have not to make any calculations. We have just to sell the goods and buy the goods and file our returns. That's all. Next is Stock transfer to branch in other state will also attract IGST. This I have already explained to you. So I'm moving further. Next is IGST will be levied on imports. This I have already explained to you. It is written at in the last line. Therefore, import will attract basic custom duty plus IGST. This I have already explained you that custom duty has not been subsumed. Therefore, custom duty is leviable plus IGST is also leviable. And this IGST and custom duty, who is to pay? The purchaser, buyer. So buyer will pay. It is not to be paid by the supplier. Buyer will pay, and buyer will pay to the government. Means here normally tax is payable by the seller, but here tax is being paid by the buyer under reverse charge mechanism. Next. These are features of goods and services tax. So features of IGST over, features of CGST and SGST is also over. Now we come to features of goods and services tax compensation to states. What is this? You just understand in brief what it is. It is like this. When the GST was to be implemented in India, at that time discussion was going on between the center and the state. State chief ministers were not ready to do it. But center explained to state chief ministers, look, for the betterment of India, for have more and more investment into the country, to stop harassment of the public, to stop corruption in the country, we need to implement GST in India. Therefore, we should find out a system, mechanism by which you should agree to it. So they said, the state chief minister said, look, center, every time we have to depend on you to take our money. So make a system. So that is why system of SGST and CGST was made, dual tax system. Secondly, government said, the different state government said, we will be at loss by implementing GST in the country. They said we will be at loss. So central government told them, look, first of all, we can guarantee you that you will not be at loss. They say, we will not go by your guarantee. You make sure that in case we are in loss, then you will bear that loss. So government tried to convince them that you will not be at loss. But they say, no, we are not impressed by that. So you take a guarantee. So government initially took the guarantee for 1 year. But the state did not agree. Then state government offered a guarantee of 3 years. That whatever will be your loss in 3 years, that central government will give you compensation for that. But the states still did not agree, and they were not ready to implement GST into the country. Ultimately, central government said, okay, in the nation interest, in the interest of the nation, since we want to implement GST, therefore we will give you compensation for 5 years. So for 5 years, compensation has been guaranteed by the central government. That is why this act has been made Features of Goods and Services Tax Compensation to States Act 2017. So what it says, it provides for a mechanism to compensate the states on account of loss of revenue for a period of 5 years. Now, he says from which year that, how the calculation will be made. So he says base year will be 2015-16. 15-16 will be the base year. And then you will say when it was implemented from 1st July 2017, why the base year was made at 2015-16. In fact, actually, government wanted to implement the GST law a year earlier. At that time, this base year was made. So that is the reason why the base year is 2015-16. Then they says that the revenue proposed to be compensated would consist of revenues from all taxes that stand subsumed. Naturally, what we are going to calculate, we will calculate how much were taxes during 2015-16 you were getting, how much tax you are receiving, of which taxes which have been subsumed, The other taxes the state governments are getting. So nothing to worry. So whatever taxes have been subsumed, 17 type of taxes, as I told you. So on those taxes, whatever revenue loss will be there, that will be compensated to the state governments. Now he says, this is very important, for reckoning the growth rate of revenue subsumed for a state at 14%. What does it mean? That you said that 15-16 will be the base, but in the coming 5 years, that earning of 15-16 cannot be my earning. State said my earning will be increasing every year. So they said, okay, increase of 14% per annum will be given. Meaning thereby, whatever was your tax collected during 15-16, you go on adding 14% to that. That figure will come out. Then you say how much you have collected from GST. If there is any difference, make a claim to central government and take the money from them. So this was that. But the question is, where from central government will pay? So in order to compensate these states, what formula was find out? The formula find out was, apart from GST, we will levy another tax called GST compensation cess. Means this is an extra tax apart from CGST, SGST and IGST. So what is this? He says on certain goods, only on certain goods, not on all goods. What is that? The sin goods. To these goods we call it as sin goods. Means luxurious goods. Means the goods which the government does not want to be used by the human persons. Either they are luxurious goods or these are the goods which public should not use it. What are those goods? Pan masala. Government wants to reduce the consumption of pan masala. So government said, whosoever will buy pan masala, he has to pay extra compensation cess also. Aerated water, tobacco and tobacco products, cigarettes, cigar and hookah, then motor vehicle, cars over a particular level. Means cars selling price more than 10 lakhs will have to pay GST compensation cess also. Coal and lignite. Now what will happen? Government has decided the rates of cess on these items, very heavy rates. Whatever collections will come from this cess, that will be used to pay compensation to the state governments. Thereafter he says that the proceeds of the cess will be utilized to compensate states that warrant payment of compensation. If after 5 years some amount is left in this cess account, then government says 50% will be given to states and 50% will be retained by the center. And when it will be given to states, it will be, calculation will be made in the ratio of the total revenues from SGST and UTGST for 5th year. GST compensation cess will be levied on all intrastate and interstate supplies of goods or services, or both, including import of goods. It will be levied either those goods are sold in intrastate, or it is sold in interstate, or these are imported. Means only on those 5-6 items on which it is to be levied. Cess would not be leviable on supplies made by a person who has opted for composition levy. If you have opted for composition levy, this I will discuss later on, the composition scheme. So at that point of time, we will discuss. ITC on inward supplies liable to cess. The items on which cess is to be levied, their ITC can be claimed only against sale of those items only on which cess is levied. Means ITC on these items, these sin goods, cannot be used for sale of other goods. Means this ITC can be used only against outward supply of the same items, not on the other items. Compensation of cess, I have already explained you. This is the chart which shows pan masala 60% is the cess. Coal 400 rupees per ton. Cars 1500 cc above 15%. Tobacco 61% to 204%, depending upon what type of cigarette it is. And on oriented drinks, 12%. So these are the rates of cess which is to be charged on these, and amount received from that will be paid to the state governments as by way of a compensation. Now, rates of taxes. As I told you earlier also, that in case of rate of taxes, there will be, government wanted that in the country only one rate of tax will be applicable, but it was not possible. Government could not do it. The state government did not agree. People of the country did not agree. Although one rate was calculated, 18% was the rate which was calculated a revenue neutral rate, meaning thereby if 18% is tax on all goods and services, there will be no loss to central government, there will be no loss to the state government. But governments did not agree on it. Therefore, that was the reason why rate of taxes was 12% on certain item, 5% on certain item, 3% on certain item, and 28% on certain item. One rate could not be settled because of complexity of the people in the country. Similarly, rate on services also 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%. Impact of GST on services. Education is tax-free. Healthcare is tax-free. Residential accommodation is tax-free. But if the accommodation is given on rent for commercial purpose, then it will be taxable. Hotels where the tariff is less than 1,000 rupees, no GST will be levied. Robust IT system. Thereafter, what government wanted, that the information technology system has to be very robust. Naturally, when I have explained you that everything is to be done on IT system, then government said, we will prepare a robust information technology system, and that is why this contract was given to Infosys. This was necessary to reduce corruption as well as to increase the efficiency and to simplify the compliance of ease of compliance and ease of administration. So government has tried to do it, although they have not completely successful in that. It will take 1 year or 2 years more to reach to a good system. Anti-profiteering measure. Now this is also very good. Can I take 5 minutes more to complete it?
Yes, sir.
No problem?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it will take only 5 minutes and we will be completing this introduction part today itself. Okay?
Yes, okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. So next is anti-profiteering measure. Now what will happen? The government said that there will be full availability of ITC. Full availability of ITC to the suppliers. Question is, when full ITC will be given, which was not available earlier, therefore prices of the goods should go down. When prices of the goods should go down, the consumer must get it at a lower price. But the government was afraid of it. Government thought, what will be the control? How can we control it? That whether the ITC, the person has taken the ITC, but he has not passed its benefit to the consumer, then what will we be doing it? So government said, okay. So government put a section 171 in the CGST Act, saying that if anybody has got the benefit of ITC, then that ITC benefit has to be passed on to the customer. If it is not done, government will check these things and it will take action. So government has started taking action against the big companies of the consumer goods, etc., where the ITC has not been passed on to the customers by reducing the prices. Composition levy. Now, what is this composition levy? The people of the country and the professional told to the government, look, you are going to impose such a difficult, complex system of GST in the country, then how these small shopkeepers will do it? So government said, okay, we will give them a facility that if their turnover is less than 1.5 crore, then they can file quarterly returns. They need not to file monthly return. They need not to pay taxes like that. And it will be ease of compliance. And below threshold, we will not, up to 20 lakhs, there will be no need of registration. They need not to pay the tax. So composition levy is an easier method of paying and complying the law if your turnover is less than 1.5 crore. In detail, we will discuss when the chapter of composition will come in. No composition will be allowed in respect of certain, these are the conditions where no composition will be applicable. But we will study later on in the chapter of composition. Refunds. As I explained you, in case of exports, when exports are zero rated, But if its purchases are by paying the taxes, so what will happen to those taxes? Because those taxes, if not refunded, it will be add to the cost and the assessee has to sell it at a higher price. Therefore, government said, no problem. Whatever ITC will be there on the goods which have been exported, it will be refunded to you. So we will get the refunds. This is the chapter of refund. Returns and payment of taxes. As I explained you that filing of return will be single return. This single return is to be filed online. Originally, government wanted 3 returns to be filed. GSTR 1, GSTR 2, GSTR 3. But government's own IT system was not ready. Therefore, GSTR 2 and 3 were not ready. So only GSTR 1 is being filed, and in place of 2 and 3, another return has been placed, GSTR 3B, which is a simple return, which we are now filing. The government is trying to prepare its system ready so that in a year or two, so that it can come out with those 2 returns. Because of non-having those 2 returns, a big loss has gone to the government, because people have started issuing fake invoices, because of which a huge ITC has been taken back from the government. Reverse charge mechanism. This is the last slide. What is this? Just understand. Government said that you have to pay tax on all purchases. All purchases. But the point was that if the seller is unregistered person, his turnover is less than 20 lakhs, he is not registered. So how can I pay tax on that? So government wanted initially, no, you have to pay tax on that. So who will pay tax on that? He says the buyer will pay tax on that. And for that purpose, then the public said, okay, suppose if I purchase tea from a tea hawker, from a tea vendor, for my office, I purchase 5 cups of tea in a day. Whether I should pay tax on that? Because the tea vendor, tea seller is a small person. He is sitting on the road. He is preparing tea. He is supplying to my office. Then why should I pay the tax? So government thought it will be very difficult. So this section was temporarily withdrawn in respect of many items. No, there will be no need of paying tax, and that was withdrawn. But still, there are few services, just like advocate service. If advocate bills you, and advocate is not supposed to pay GST, but in that case, the person to whom he is paying the services, he has to pay the tax in reverse charge mechanism. Similarly, there are certain other services also. Suppose government gives you any certain services, in those services also the recipient has to pay the tax on RCM basis. So that was a system. Although we want that this system should be abolished in the country, this is creating a lot of problems. But for the time being, in respect of certain services, this is there. So this is all so far as introduction part is concerned, basic concepts are concerned, features of GST are concerned. Now we will be, whatever we have discussed in these features, we will go one by one, chapter wise.